Sometimes, the scariest goodbye is the one that never gets spoken. When someone disappears without explanation, it feels personal, but often it isn't. Ghosting isn't just avoidance, it's a psychological defense mechanism. Some people ghost because communication feels overwhelming. When emotions get too intense, disappearing feels easier than explaining. They fear conflict more than they value closure. Ghosting becomes their escape route from emotional pressure. Some grew up in homes where emotions were unsafe or explosive. So now, disappearing feels familiar, almost normal. Silence becomes their way of saying, "I don't know how to handle this." Instead of words, they choose distance. They avoid conversations that require vulnerability or accountability. To them, silence feels safe, even if it hurts others. Ghosting feels like control when emotions feel uncontrollable. The irony is, they leave because they fear being abandoned. So they leave first to avoid being left. Many ghost because their self-image can't handle uncomfortable truths. Silence allows them to pretend nothing happened. They disconnect instead of correcting, fixing, or apologizing. Distance becomes a shield between their flaws and the world. Some ghost because closeness makes them feel exposed. Vulnerability feels dangerous, not comforting. So silence becomes emotional armor. They don't disappear because you're unworthy. They disappear because intimacy feels threatening. Ghosting keeps them in control of how they're seen. By not responding, they avoid accountability for their behavior. Disappearing gives them emotional distance to avoid responsibility. Silence protects their ego better than honesty ever could. They struggle to express needs because they've never learned how. And sometimes, it's easier to vanish than risk emotional discomfort. So ghosting becomes a silent exit, without confrontation, without emotion, without closure. Some people ghost because facing emotions feels overwhelming or unsafe. Silence becomes easier than honesty when vulnerability feels threatening. Many ghosters believe distance protects them from rejection, criticism, or conflict. Their disappearance is often a defense mechanism, not disrespect. Deep down, they fear disappointing someone or being misunderstood. Instead of saying, "I'm not ready," they vanish because the truth feels too raw. Emotional unavailability can come from past betrayal, trauma, or abandonment. Their silence is often a mirror of wounds they never healed. They grew up learning that opening up leads to pain, not connection. So now, when connection feels too close, they disappear to regain control. Ghosting becomes a way to avoid the pressure of emotional responsibility. They're not running from you. They're running from the intensity inside themselves. Their silence is a language they never learned to translate. Their disappearance says less about your worth and more about their emotional limits. Ghosting is self-protection disguised as indifference. Closure requires confrontation, honesty, and emotional maturity. Ghosting allows them to avoid the discomfort of emotional accountability. Silence lets them escape the role of the bad guy, even if it makes things worse. Some ghosters genuinely believe disappearing is kinder than explaining. They prefer leaving things unfinished over risking emotional confrontation. Ghosting gives them an illusion of control in relationships. The silence becomes a boundary they don't know how to voice. For some, disappearing is a learned survival strategy, not a choice. Silent distance is a way to avoid emotional chaos they feel unprepared to handle. They hope time will make the connection fade without pain. In their mind, avoidance feels safer than vulnerability. Their silence is emotional armor, not always cruelty. They disconnect to protect themselves from emotional consequences they can't handle. Ghosting feels like an escape, but internally it creates guilt and unfinished emotion. The silence they give the world is often the silence they grew up receiving. Silence becomes their language when emotions feel overwhelming. Ghosting is often a shield, not an attack. Their disappearance is rarely about the other person. It's a coping mechanism to avoid conflict or vulnerability. Some believe distance is safer than honesty. Their silence hides fears they can't articulate. Sometimes they ghost because they don't know how to exit properly. Other times, they vanish because connection feels unfamiliar or uncomfortable. They are afraid of being misunderstood more than they fear hurting someone. Their silence isn't indifference, it's emotional paralysis. They worry that revealing themselves might lead to rejection. Ghosting gives them control when emotions feel uncontrollable. The distance feels comforting because closeness feels dangerous. Their silence is unresolved fear disguised as strength. And until they face that fear, ghosting will continue as their silent escape. If someone ghosted you, remember, not everything is about you. Sometimes, their silence speaks about their wounds, not your worth. If this video helped you understand the psychology behind ghosting, keep watching. Like, share, and subscribe for more deep psychological breakdowns that make you think differently.